Good morning friends, this is Rahul sir and you are most welcome in my classes. In previous class we have studied about different angles, okay, measurement methods like degree measurement and radian measurement. Now today we are going to study about the trigonometric functions like sine theta, cos theta and all. And in previous class we have studied few formulas like sine square theta plus cos square theta equal to 1. Like these formulas we have already studied. For now today we are going to explain how this formula can be derived with the help of other coordinate methods. Let us assume we have a Cartesian coordinate like this, and we have a circle of radius. We have a circle of radius 1 unit. 1 unit means 1 meter, 1 centimeter, 1 kilometer, whatever it is. Okay. Now let us say this one. So if we join these 2 points, let us say this point is A, B, C, and D. This is x-axis, this is y-axis. Okay. So minus x and minus y. Now if I say this length is 1 meter, the radius of this circle is 1 meter, so the coordinate of this point will be equal to 1, 0. The coordinate of B will be equal to 0, 1. Similarly, the coordinate of this point will be equal to minus 1, 0, and this point will be 0, minus. Okay. Now let us say at this is point O, we start moving from this point A in anti-clockwise direction, and let us say as given in your book, like we move degree x, we move x degree. Okay, so if we move x degree, then we reach a point P, and the coordinate of this point is, let us say, A, B. Okay. If the coordinate of this point P is equal to A, B, then if we draw the perpendicular from this point P to this line, so let us say this point is M. Okay, so this length will be equal to A and this length will be equal to B, because this is the coordinate and this length is one hypotenuse. Okay. Now from Pythagoras we know that hypotenuse square is equal to base square plus perpendicular square, implies that here A square plus B square will be equal to 1. Okay, are you getting this point or not? So A square plus B square will be equal to 1. Okay, now we know sine theta, now this angle is x, so sine x will be equal to, we know that sine theta is equal to perpendicular upon hypotenuse, so sine x will be equal to b upon 1, that is b. Cos x will be equal to base upon hypotenuse, so that will be a. Okay, so we see that b is equal to sine x and a is equal to cos x. If we replace these values to this equation, what do we find? Cos square x plus sine square x is equal to 1. And this is how we find this formula. Okay, from this one. Okay, now if we take the sine square common, okay, sine square common from the this equation, so what we will get? Sine square x will equal to sine square x cos square x upon sine square x plus 1 is equal to 1. So take this cos sine square x to this side and it will be cot square x plus 1 is equal to this, will come downwards and it will become cosec square. We get the second formula. Again, if we take the cos square x common, then we will get 1 plus tan square x equal to 6 quadrants. Okay, so this is how we get the 3 formulas. Okay, now from this figure we can also find that the values of sin theta, cos theta are varying with respect to angles. Listen, let us talk about the values of sin x. When x value is 0, that means this point P is on A. If this point P is on A, then this length PM will be 0, that means B will be 0. Okay, so we know that for x equal to 0, B is equal to 0, so sin 0 will be equal to 0. Now if x is equal to 90 degrees, that means sin pi by 2. Okay, because in previous classes we have studied that this total full rotation is pi 2 pi and quarter rotation will be equal to pi by 2, obviously. So sin pi by 2. Now if sin pi by 2 is, then P will be at point B. Okay, now at that condition B will be equal to the value of B will continuously increase and it will be equal to OB, and OB is the radius. OB is the radius of the circle. That means hypotenuse and this side B will be equal. Now in this scenario, then sin pi by 2 will be equal to B upon P, that means 1. Okay, or you can directly say 1. Okay, so sin pi by 2 will be equal to 1. Okay, now again sin pi, if we come to point C. Okay, at this point we again see that if we come again here, then the height B will be 0, so sin pi will be 0. Again sin 3 pi by 2 at point D, we again find that this is equal to -1 because the length is negative this time, so this will be equal to -1, and sin 2 pi, that means again we have reached point A. Sin 2 pi is equal to again 0. So from here we see that the value sin x is equal to 0 when x is equal to 0, either f pi or 2 pi, 3 pi, dot dot dot. What do we find that x is equal to sin x will be 0 when x equal to 0, pi, 2 pi, 3 pi, dot dot dot. So we can say that sin x equal to sin and pi is equal to 0. Okay, that means whatever the value of n or the value of this function will be 0. Similarly, if we talk about cos x, let's see what happens with the cos x. Now cos 0, for cos OM is the length, okay, that is A. For cos 0, this length will be equal to radius, so cos 0 will be equal to 1. Again cos pi by 2, for cos pi by 2, this point will come to point B, and at this point A will reduce to 0, so this will be 0. Again cos pi, for cos pi the value will be -1 because this is -1. Cos 3 pi by 2, for cos 3 pi by 2 this will be again 0, and cos 2 pi again will be equal to 1. Now what do we see here? We see that at what point we find the value of cos 0, cos x is equal to 0 when x is equal to pi by 2, 3 pi by 2 and dot dot dot. Okay, so what do we can say that x equal to 2n plus 1 pi by 2. At x equal to 2n plus 1 pi by 2, cos x will be 0. Okay, so this is how we find these two numbers. Okay, so for today this is, I think, sufficient. From tomorrow onwards we are going to solve few questions. Thank you.